back to the Blue and Gold Report. We are joined by junior middle blocker Collin Mehring. Collin, thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks. I like being here.
You're stepping into a starting role. You redshirted your first year. Saw action, but limited action.
Yeah.
What's it like now being in the starting lineup? And did you know, kind of going into the season, that you would be in the starting lineup?
I had high hopes. You know, I'd like to be in the starting lineup. Of course, it's fun to play. So, I didn't really know until probably after the Argentina trip. You know, getting into preseason, it was fun. I knew going into the trip that pretty much everyone on the team was going to get some playing time. So, he wanted to give everyone the chance to experience, you know, playing professional teams and playing at that level. So that was really my only idea going into it. And then after that, when we started playing teams in our league and more teams at our level and not the professional level, then our starting lineup kind of got formed from that. And I had a good idea at the end of the preseason that I'd be starting.
We're going to get to Argentina, but how did that experience help you? You had a phenomenal Ebar tournament. You were the most valuable player. I think you set a school record. Let me check my notes. You hit 1,000,
Yeah.
And you didn't have any errors against CalBap. How did that experience help you? And what was it like playing against, you know, USC's or the Long Beach States, and UCLA's that first weekend?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, the Ebar tournament's always a good season opener because you get to play a lot of games very quickly and you get a good kind of overview of what the playing field's like that year. And I think it gave us a pretty good look at a lot of the teams. I think our final match against UCLA was a little bit of a kind of a wake-up call for us. You know, they played a lot better than we were expecting, and we let slip a few games there that we probably shouldn't have. And you know, we pulled out the match in the end, but it definitely ended favorably for us. But it shows us that we have a lot of work to do.
Now, one of the things I've found is that it's really difficult to get your middles and your setter connecting consistently.
Yeah.
You know, but it seemed like you've been going pretty smoothly with Chris Austin. Did you guys work on that a lot?
We have. We've been working on it. We've been working on it from a lot of different areas, and mainly trying to run a little riskier sets from run the middle from off the net a little bit more, which is something we haven't traditionally been able to do. And it should allow us to open up our offense a little more and give us some more options, especially when our passing is not on, or I mean, even if it's on but just not perfect, then we should still be able to run it.
Now, I've seen in the past, you know, Carson Clark and Tilly will call for the ball. Are you in that position where you can tell Chris you want the ball and he'll get it to you?
I can try, but again, it depends a lot on the passing. So it depends. I mean, I'm very dependent on how the rest of the team is playing that day. I need the passing to be going well, and I need the setting to be connecting well. And so I can do my job then if everything's going great, but anybody can do that. So I need to work on a little bit, you know, getting the ball in play when everything's not going great.
Out of system.
So we're out of system play. We're working on that.
You saw Cal Baptist at the Ebar. You're going to see them again this week.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have 3 straight road matches, and it's Cal Baptist, BYU, and who is that third one? Is that Long Beach State? I can't remember. Anyway, sorry, folks. But we'll start with Cal Baptist and BYU this week for sure on the road. What did you see against Cal Bap the first time, and what are their strengths and weaknesses?
They have one very tall and very, very good middle blocker who they like to run, who we never really stopped effectively. I know that's what I see. That's my position. So I will be trying to stop him at least. And then they ran a lot of really quick pin hitters, which we did kind of shut down during the tournament. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again. And just turn out the same.
Okay. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You guys then head off to BYU.
Yep.
Talk about playing in BYU. I know there's an altitude difference, and I know that causes the ball to float a little bit more. But how do you prepare for that, and what kind of adjustments do you guys make for matches such as those?
I think I don't know about adjustments. It's hard to make adjustments leading up to the match because it's really not something you can simulate down here. especially with the altitude, and even the crowd they bring is huge. And we did have a big crowd at our last match against SC, so we are getting to the point where we can simulate that. But I think to prepare for it, it's really just traveling and having the experience and going into a place where you're not familiar with playing, and you're maybe not going to be able to come out as hot as you'd like, and it takes a little time to warm up and get into things. So just having that experience, and I know we haven't gotten to Argentina yet, but I feel like that was a big portion of preparing for something like that.
Took care of Pepperdine. Kind of stumbled a little bit against USC.
Yeah.
And that was a rematch of the national championship game. That's how everyone was seeing that match. But what happened in that match that you guys, were you guys just not clicking? Did you not expect that level of play from USC?
All right. Well, we didn't play our best, obviously. Otherwise, I think it would have turned out a little differently. But we also they did a couple things that we weren't really expecting. They changed it up a little bit. They I don't know how much I'm supposed to say about their systems, but they ran the middle a little more than we were expecting, and we weren't able to stop it at all. Okay. And that's kind of on me and Scott. But we also did a couple things with our lineup. We switched it up. Some of them were specifically to prepare for BYU. We weren't sure if we were going to have to make some changes on the fly up there, and we wanted to make sure we were comfortable with them beforehand. Okay. And so we tried it out, and it didn't work out. So we'll be working on it this week.
Talk a little bit about your first 2 years and what you learned, playing behind, Kevin Wynn and Dan McDonnell.
And give
McConnell.
Austin Diamore.
And Austin Diamore. Yeah. Sorry, Austin. Yeah. I just saw him yesterday, too.
Yeah. I learned a lot. I mean, the first 2 years. Definitely my first year, I redshirted, so I obviously didn't play at all because I was redshirting. So I mainly just learned kind of the way they worked together, and they worked with the setters and came in and got extra reps and did all this stuff before the matches to prepare, so that when you're in a match, it's not as there's not as much stress or as much pressure, because it's just something that you've done and you're comfortable with it. And I thought they were pretty good about that, and they always push themselves really hard. So it's easy to, I don't know, it's easier to do it yourself when you've seen someone else go through it and do it successfully.
We have Kevin Carroll, who is a volunteer assistant, and I know that he wasn't on the team as a middle, but I thought he was pretty good at that position for being a smaller middle. Does he work with you guys at all?
He works with everybody. He doesn't coach a specific position, so he does kind of sit back and watch. He does a lot of the video for us and breaking it down, and so he gets to watch us, I think, a lot more than a lot of the other coaches. Not because they don't want to, but because that's his job, and he has time to watch us multiple times, and he gets to watch us then through video in slow motion and very repetitively, so he gets to see some of the things that we wouldn't catch in real time.
And how is he teaching you the game? What's his style when he talks to you guys about things? Is he pretty knowledgeable? He is
definitely very knowledgeable. Yeah, he knows his stuff. So I'm trying to think of a way of defining his style, but he will kind of pull you aside in between points and let you know what you're doing and what you need to work on. It's very straightforward.
Okay, you guys went to Argentina. This was your first time, and I believe it was the first time for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
What was that like? What were your perceptions of Argentina going in, and what did you take away from that trip?
It's really broad. So we knew it was going to be tough going in because we're playing professional teams, and they play at just another level of speed and just intensity, and they bring it all the time. And so we knew it was going to be very challenging volleyball, and we also knew that traveling there is quite a trip, and I think it took us over almost an entire day of just straight traveling, and then we get off the bus and we play a game immediately. And it was done, I think, intentionally to just kind of strengthen us for the year and say, well, if we can travel and do that, then we can travel these short distances and play teams within our conference very easily. And so I think I took away that we are a good team and we can compete with these professional teams, and it strengthened us, I think, as a team, and it just kind of showed us what we were capable of, and then shone the light on what we needed to improve upon as well.
Okay, I've never been to Argentina.
Okay.
So what was that country like?
What was the country like?
Yeah.
It was a nice country. It was there was a lot more open space, I guess, than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting to just fly into a city and then stay within a city, and we drove through kind of the countryside, and we stopped and we had dinner with a very nice group of people who they set us up with through the volleyball tournament, and kind of got to see that side of it as well. And then we flew into Buenos Aires, and then we took a bus through the countryside to Mar del Plata. I know I'm probably not saying that correctly, but and that was nice as well. And it's right on the coast,
Mm-hmm.
so a little similar to here, but not, it has a difference.
Not exactly
Not
the
exactly
same.
the same.
Did you like the food? Did you like the people, the music? Did you get to experience that?
We did. We did in small doses. We definitely were very focused on volleyball the entire time we were there, but we went out several times to different places to eat. I'm trying to think of examples, but we went to a steakhouse that was very memorable,
Mm-hmm.
where they had a very specific style of grilling it, and they made their Argentinian style
Because they're
steaks
famous
that
for
they're
beef.
famous for.
Yeah, they're very famous
so
for beef.
that was very good. And they made empanadas that had different beef and chicken that they raised there, and those were very good as well.
Are a computer engineering major.
Yeah, computer science engineering.
Computer science
but yeah,
engineering major.
similar.
And you are heavily involved in gaming, computer gaming.
Yes.
Where did that interest start?
Ooh, where did that start? That started a long time ago, probably before even high school. I mean, I was lucky enough to kind of grow up in this generation that has computer games, the entire time. Whereas one generation earlier, and it wouldn't have even existed. It would have been all arcade cabinets and stuff. So I think just kind of my interest in technology and growing up in Northern California in Silicon Valley, really, with my dad who's a computer engineer as well, or
Okay.
still is, really. And so I guess I had that opportunity to be surrounded by technology and just being able to see what it was capable of and what it could do, and kind of seeing that through gaming, and that just being instinctually kind of the fun, the entertainment draw of the technology was there, right from the beginning. So I started that at an early age and just kept with it, and I still do to this day, actually. So
Which games do you play?
oh, I play a lot of games.
Too many to name?
Too many. I don't know. It's rough now because I have so many games now that I don't have as much time to play them.
Okay.
So I have kind of the reverse problem that I would have in high school or earlier, where I'd have time to do it and I wouldn't have the games to play. So I don't know. Now it's mostly between computer engineering and volleyball. I'm very busy, but I try to fit it in here and there.
For those of us who don't know, me namely, what is the gaming world like? Like, I mean, you see it kind of on sitcoms where
Right.
people have avatars and they're role playing and things like that. Is that the side you're into?
Not so much. It's more some competitive games. I mostly play, I guess you would say, first-person shooters
Okay.
and kind of action games. I mean, there's role-playing elements to that, but it's not as heavily influenced. For me, it's always been kind of a way to keep in touch with friends and just kind of get together and do something together. I still play a lot with a lot of my friends from high school, and they're also all very, very much still into the gaming scene, more so than I am, because I have a little bit more time without being involved in sports. But we definitely get together, and it's fun to be able to just connect online and just see how I have a list of friends online, and I can play with them even though they're in Northern California and I'm down here, or a couple of them have gone to other states around the country for college, and they still hook up with them.
Okay, that sounds similar to what my niece is playing. She's playing Wizard 101.
Okay.
I think that's what that is, where you can sign on, you see a bunch of friends, you see their characters, and you go look for treasure. That sounds kind of similar to what you're
Yeah,
describing.
you don't always see them within the game world. It's more of a there's different structures depending on the platform where they have an overarching kind of list of friends that you can keep, and then you can pick and go play different games with them. But it's
okay.
it's outside of the.
Now, have you programmed any of your own games?
Very basic things. I've worked on a couple more open source projects through online, but I haven't really founded or done any of my own truly start to finish. by myself or anything.
Is that kind of in your future, though, do you think?
I would say, yeah, that's kind of the goal. But again, not to do it on my own. You know, I could...
To be part of a big
part
corporation
of a company or a group of any size really would be fine for me.
Well, we're going to have to set it up so that Collin kind of takes us into his gaming world. We might have to take a computer or a camera into your place and watch you and have you walk us through this.
I have my computer set up right next to Scott's, actually. We can show you together.
I think that'd be a fun episode. What do you think? Collin, thanks for joining us. The best of luck this week. Come back with a couple wins, and we will see you back in the Brent against Long Beach State in a black and blue rivalry game in 2 weeks.
All right.
We're with Collin Mehring, junior middle blocker on the men's volleyball team. We will be right back with more on the Blue and Gold Report on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.